Oh, here we go again.
Welcome back, fine shits. I am back home now, but there is one thing that followed me from the trip I took, and that is bad podcasts. And I know we just talked all that shit about podcasts last time, but this was eating me alive, and I really couldn't physically go without making a video about it. So do you remember Matt and Abby Howard? You know, they're your average TikTok influencer couple. They like to vlog the cute moments in their daily lives that totally aren't staged to make millennials go, oh my god, they are so cute. They are such bagels. I must be at an Einstein Bros right now because of all these bagels. Anybody fuck with Einstein Bros at all? Got any Einstein hoes in the chat? And you can't forget about the podcast, which of course they have a podcast. Why wouldn't they? Where they use passive aggressive slights about their lives and each other and try to pass it off as like life advice, which from them we've learned includes filming your very pregnant wife when she's having a mental breakdown, never ever getting a divorce no matter what.
For us, like, divorce is just not on the table. It's not an option.
And leaving your infant children alone on a cruise ship so you can have a kid-free dinner. Oh, sorry, allegedly. My fault there. If you want a deeper dive into why I don't like these two, I've already made a video about them, which you should totally go watch. Just make sure you come back to this one. Now, I usually don't do follow-up videos on specific people, so I made that video, said my piece, and just never wanted to have to interact with these two ever again. But of course, when people are trying to cling to online relevancy, they'll always find some new shit to get stuck in. And for once, I didn't go out looking for this. Usually when I make these, it's because like the algorithm brought it to my attention, but that did not happen this time. Instead, one of my friends messaged me and says, "Did you hear about the Matt and Abby thing?" And my first response was, "Which one? The cruise ship thing?" And then she goes, "Oh no." And then I go, "Oh no." So she sends me a TikTok, and the thumbnail is Matt laying on a bed by himself, which felt really weird seeing him without Abby. It's like seeing Bert without Ernie, or Tom without Jerry, or Bryan Cranston without Aaron Paul. But I think we need to hear what Matt has to say.
This is super embarrassing, but I've been sleeping in our walk-in closet for the past month. This is our guest bedroom mattress that I dragged all the way from our guest bedroom into here, and my wife's not a huge fan of this arrangement. This decision that I made was something I had to do just to prioritize my mental health because I was not okay. Secrets out.
That's sorry. That's a lot to take in, especially if you don't know these people, which I think further adds to the testament that maybe you shouldn't be saying any of this online, but whatever. And before anybody says it, I know that couples don't always sleep in the same bed every single night, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with their relationship. But like, for a month, and in the closet, he walked into their guest bedroom, looked at the bed that was already there in a private space he could have already had for himself, and he goes, "Nah." This is what a normal, well-adjusted person would do. So he takes their guest bed out of their guest bedroom and drags it into their walk-in closet. So I guess they're still in the same room, just different sides of it, which I don't get how that's helping your mental health if that was ever your concern. Oh, they should do like the old sitcoms did, where they would have like two twin beds like right next to each other. "Honey, why don't you scooch on over this way? Our contract says baby number 3 should be on the way soon, but then you better get that tush right back over there, see?" Now, upon further inspection, I realized that this was actually a solo podcast that Matt was starting on his own called Night Shift, or the Matt Howard Show. I don't really know which one, and I don't think he does either. He doesn't say it once in the episode. He doesn't have it in the title anywhere, which I'm sure is already doing wonders for the show's SEO. Or maybe he's fooling all of us, because if we don't know what the name of the podcast is, we can't find it to hate on it. So maybe Matt's secretly like a genius and he's playing all of us. And it also feels kind of crazy that he's talking about all these like mental health issues that he's having, and his first thought to try to get any help for himself is, "This would make a great podcast." It reminds me of that one SNL skit where they make the doctor's office look like a podcast studio to trick men into like being open about what's going on. I fear Matt would greatly benefit from that. And that also made me hope that this was just like a set that he built somewhere and he wasn't actually sleeping in the closet. But then I found a clip from the normal podcast where Abby is talking about how much she hates this.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I'm a lonely gal. See, here's the thing. Say what you want. I am codependent. I went from my parents' house to being roommates to sleeping with you. And I shared a room in college. It can be a marker of like an unhealthy marriage, or it can just be like you have different schedules, you have different situations, which is our case.
What conflicting schedules do you have? Like, this isn't like you have different jobs with different shifts or anything like that. You both do the exact same thing. You film your own podcast together every week. You're always going out. You have parents that live with you and help with the kids a lot from what it seems like. Oh, maybe it's different schedules because they have to take turns with like the one brain cell between them. I also feel bad that she's sharing how much she hates the current arrangement while Matt is like laughing about it. I'm no relationship expert by any means, but like, if you're telling your partner something that you don't like and their response is chuckling about it, I feel like maybe they don't really like you all that much. Like, that's how I would take it, personally at least. But you know what? Forget about all that stupid shit, because Matt's got his own podcast and it's going up, baby. So let's hear what his grand plan for the show is.
I think it's going to be really fun to conduct every interview on this show in bed with the guest that I'm interviewing. So that'll make things interesting.
Oh, what's that clip of Sabrina Breyer? Oh, like, not to be a prude or anything, but that's not a very big bed. And that made me wonder who Matt thought he was going to get to agree to be on this show, but he's already got a dream list planned out.
I'm thinking probably people on The Bachelor, maybe some of the husbands from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Maybe it's influencer husbands.
Pause, bro. You want to lay down in bed and talk with a bunch of dudes and not your wife? Maybe the closet was like a subliminal thing that we should have been looking into this whole time. It would have been equally funny if he just started listing off like really attractive women. Let's see, dream guests. You know, Dua Lipa's a huge one I was thinking about. I think Megan Thee Stallion would love to be on the show. Maybe our recently divorced neighbor that always wears those really tight shorts whenever she goes for her morning runs. Now, I really wanted to do a deep dive into the full episode, but I couldn't stand it, I'll be honest with you. Here's my reenactment that sums up the entire thing. I had such a rough childhood. I even did alcohol once. Whenever I'm not in this closet, me and my wife really enjoy having some great Christian sex whenever the contract allows for it. I will say his commitment to just yapping will never cease to amaze me, which is rich coming from a commentary YouTuber, but shut up. Like, no episode theme, no like docket with topics to discuss. Never even says the name of his show once. Just 43 minutes of stuff that he's probably told Abby every single day for their entire relationship. And she just got tired of hearing about it all the fucking time and told him to do this. I do want to mention this part towards the end of the episode where he just happens to notice he's not wearing his wedding ring.
All this stuff that I've had. By the way, I just realized I'm not wearing my ring. I should probably put that on. We're actually, my wife and I are still together, by the way. I think I took it off because I've been wearing this silicone ring that was like digging into my finger. Someone probably was freaking out the entire time, like, oh my gosh, they split up.
I actually didn't notice it one time until you just brought it up, so now I am freaking out. How could you? Can't you tell how concerned I am about your marriage that I don't think is viable anymore? Matt, come on, man. Do something! This also felt like somebody bringing attention to something that they clearly want to talk about. Guys, before we head out, can we just not talk about the fact that I'm not wearing any pants, please? Wait. Why? Why the fuck aren't you wearing any pants? We're leaving right now. Oh, thanks a lot. I literally thought I just said not to talk about it. Some friends you are. What do you mean? We're leaving right now. They're not gonna let you in if you're not wearing pants. Oh, right. Like they're not gonna let me order a triple dipper just because I'm not wearing pants. Yes, that is exactly what that means. I don't understand. Wait, is this the same Chili's that your ex-wife works at? Were you going there without pants so you could ask her if she wanted your triple dipper one more time? All right, you know what? Fuck this. We're going to Einstein Bros. Now, after getting to sit through that fun time, I was curious what the vibes on the normal podcast were like. The first thing that really screamed out to me was from their 100th episode, which is supposed to be about them reflecting on the podcast and themselves, but then Abby feels the need to say this.
There's a guy that repeatedly DMs me every time my foot is... And my friends were like, block him. I'm like,
so
no,
funny.
He's nice. He's like, you're so beautiful and sexy. He's been doing it since like 2020.
Are you serious? What does he say other than that? Is there like
you
a
have
certain...
gorgeous feet, sexy feet.
I mean, I guess somebody needs to compliment her since Matt can't really do it from the closet. And what really baffles me about this is that I don't know where that came from. Like before this, she was talking about the DMs she got for getting her hair done. And then she had to mention a man on her DMs that wanted to see her feet get done with... I think this is one of those scenarios where your friends are right and you really should block that guy. But why stop there? You could block everybody by just deleting your TikTok account. Maybe you could also block Matt by just never talking to him again. Not really like he'd even notice anyways. Like he just walks out of the closet and like everything's gone. He just doesn't even notice until he realizes the podcast equipment isn't there. Well, this is really weird. My wife and children and in-laws and all of my stuff are gone. No, it's probably for something. Hey, where's my Shure SM7B? And I was hoping that's the worst this conversation would get, but, you know, Matt just had to start talking too.
Maybe they just want premium foot content.
Well,
which they're
you know
going to get
what?
on my story.
They probably want
Honestly, I probably get a lot of people with foot fetishes on my story because my
No.
feet make an appearance like every
Matt,
week.
don't flatter yourself. No.
Every week. But they're kind of weird.
I want to know who edits their podcast. Do they know that they're allowed to like make cuts? They're allowed to edit things out if they need to. But I guess if they knew that, they would just be erasing like entire episodes. One would be the most recent episode as of me recording this where Matt was asking Abby uncomfortable questions, which I think was just his excuse to be kind of creepy.
What's shocking to me is it sounds like you and your lady friends will just like drop your drawers in front of each other. Like you guys have seen each
No.
other. Haven't you like seen each other without your clothes on? Because getting home from going to like the zoo with the kids or something.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to see you, not only because you're naked, but also because I just genuinely think you're an awesome person. What do tampons feel like? I don't even know who submitted this question,
You
but
don't even feel it.
you don't even feel it?
Once they're in, no.
Does it feel kind of good?
God, this dude's such... I'm sorry. I don't even know how to say this in a funny way. He's a fucking dunce half the time. I feel like these would be good questions to ask if you were, I don't know, like a 12-year-old boy. Which, like, he honestly could be, and, like, we just don't know it yet. It would be so crazy if he was asking all of these, like, sexually charged, like, perverted questions. But then he, like, didn't know what her favorite color is, or favorite food, or, like, favorite dinosaur or something. Comment down below what your favorite dinosaur is. But who needs to know any of that when you just want to think about your wife and all of her friends naked? Wait, so when you and your friends go to the bathroom together, you're not all in there making out? Man. And there's also a clip from the same episode I showed you earlier where Matt was laughing at his wife's discontent.
It's so embarrassing when you're an adult and you have no friends.
It
Embarrassing.
shouldn't be embarrassing though.
It was embarrassing for me. Everything was handed to us in college. Like we came to the school, everyone was new to making friends, and we got plugged into a community that made it really easy to make friends.
Being several years removed from that, my perspective is so different. Like I was kind of pitying myself in a way.
I mean, could they be any further from the same page on that? Like, Matt's talking about how great college was, and Abby's just like, speak for yourself, pussy. Maybe you'd make some friends if you got out of the closet. Take it from somebody who's extremely introverted and really doesn't like making new friends. It's something that takes a lot of effort and confidence to build up, but once you get there, it's really not that hard. Something else that helps a lot is having your own personalized interests apart from your marriage and like your brand. And, you know, also having a likable and approachable personality, which I'm sure Matt has, right? I'd say maybe having more quality time with yourself to cultivate your interests would be good, but you clearly already have that as well. You know, maybe you could bond with people over your love for music since you're an aspiring musician and everything. Wait, did I ever talk about that? Huh? Yeah, Matt's not content with just being a world-class TikToker, podcaster, and closet sleeper. He's also trying to be a singer. He even auditioned for The Voice, but didn't get through, which makes a lot of sense because his backstory just isn't tragic enough. Sorry, Matt, your singing was fine, but I heard you say that you still have a great relationship with your parents, and it doesn't sound like you've ever struggled with opioids or really any hard substances, so I just couldn't turn my chair for you today. Now, he's made a few songs, but the one that people talk about the most is called Still Not Enough. Before we go any further, I do want to address this. The biggest defense for this song is that it was about his mental health and it like helped him through depression. It's something that he worked hard on, put his heart and soul into, which is great for him. If that's what got him through rough times, then like great. However, that doesn't automatically make a song good. I really wish I could play it for you, but that would make it even easier for them to take this video down if they ever find it. But I am allowed to do a dramatic retelling of the lyrics to show you why it sounds like he doesn't really like his family that much. It's funny how you think you know just what you want when you're 8 years old, dressing up as Spider-Man. It's funny how I haven't really changed that much. I bought the house but forgot to pay the water bill. Wow, I didn't realize they were gonna put Matt and Abby Easter eggs in this, much less one that makes you sound really incompetent. Now the chorus for the song goes, I thought by now I'd be happier. I thought by now I'd have it all figured out. You'd think I feel a little better about myself, cause I got everything I want, but it's still not enough. Now, I will give the benefit of the doubt. The song is probably meaning, like, you can accomplish everything you want in life and have everything you had ever wished for, but unless you find the happiness within yourself, you're never going to truly be happy or enjoy any of it. But it is kind of coming off like you're saying that your wife and children don't bring you any happiness, and that, like, you're not living a fulfilling life with them, which is kind of shitty to even imply. And I'm not the first person to think any of this by any means. You know, there's been other YouTube videos, TikToks, Reddit threads, news articles, you name it, that have all weighed in with their opinions on what Matt and Abby are willingly posting by themselves on the internet. And they've responded to the hate before, usually with like being really tongue-in-cheek about it.
TikTok thinks we're getting divorced, and so
I told you, my friend told me she saw a TikTok today that said we're getting divorced.
I don't want to do that.
Or in a video that I'm pretty sure got deleted because Abby sounded a little misogynistic. That made me have to change even more of my last video than I already did, so thanks a lot for that. But probably the most interesting response I saw was on the podcast, where Matt opens up about the backlash that he faced for his song.
It was soul crushing. It was, dude, why am I like, I wrote a song about like being depressed, thinking it would like help people that were also depressed. Oh my God, and then it felt like the whole internet turned on me and was like, you hate your wife and kids.
Which
that
is
was
so
that was really hard, because I love my wife and kids so much. So
Then fucking act like it, Matt. And look, I understand having the entire internet hate you doesn't feel good, and I don't doubt that you actually do love your family, but this just feels like you're trying to like manipulate everybody watching. Because let's be honest for a second, that song wasn't just about your depression. It was about how your wife and kids that you love haven't magically fixed your depression, because obviously they wouldn't. And if you were a talented enough songwriter, I feel like you definitely could have conveyed this feeling while also reassuring that you still love them. But you didn't. Instead, it sounds like you have a little bit of regret about the way your life turned out, which is understandable considering you got married and had kids so young to the only girlfriend you've ever had. And I'm not judging anyone that's ever done that, that's fine, but it's a drastically different life experience than someone who got to be young and stupid, make mistakes, grow, mature before they were ready to be a family man. And I kind of think that's what Matt is missing here, because I don't think someone who is mature enough to be a family man would be sleeping in a walk-in closet away from his wife on a regular basis, or forget to pay a water bill, or complain about Father's Day and his birthday being on the same day, or argue with his wife who just had a C-section about how to feed the baby, or try to sexualize normal conversations like a weirdo, or being okay with leaving your children on a cruise ship. Allegedly, sorry. I just feel like them trying to turn this into a men's mental health thing is really avoiding the entire issue and any accountability that he could be taking for himself. But that is how they've handled every single controversy they've ever had, so I shouldn't be too shocked. I'd say they got themselves in hot water, but the water wasn't hot because Matt forgot to pay the water bill. So, for all of our sakes, I think that's where I need to end this. I think if I listen to any more of them, I'm going to have to sleep in my closet, and I don't even have a walk-in closet, so that's going to be really awkward. Maybe I'll just take a trip to Einstein Bros and everything will be okay. So I want to end my video with this. Matt and Abby, if you ever see this video, please, for the love of God, shut the fuck up and get to therapy. And if you're already in therapy, get better therapy, because whatever you're doing now is not working. And I know their usual defense for this is like, well, we don't know what happens off camera, we only see what's on camera. What we're seeing on camera are two people putting up a facade and like trying to keep up for the brand or whatever. And I feel like both of them are kind of too full of themselves to even consider for a second that they'd be the problem. And I know like their entire brands are online and that's like where they make their money and everything, but I feel like putting the phones down and getting away for a while would like help them figure shit out. And instead of getting defensive and clapping back when people voice their concerns about your marriage, maybe you should just give it a shred of thought and also try to get it together without trying to turn it into content. What makes me mad is like I can already imagine them doing the whole marriage counseling thing but making it like into a podcast episode. If you could do that without having to broadcast it to all of us, that would be fantastic. So thank you all so much for watching today's video. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed it. All my Einstein hoes, comment down below what your favorite dinosaur is. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel because you'd be supporting me and it means the world. And you'll also be supporting my own podcast venture, which will be marriage counseling for these like influencer couples. I'm not a marriage counselor by any means, but I think I can make a breakthrough with Matt and Abby, or break through their divorce papers. We're gonna find out. Thank y'all again for watching. Stay safe out there. Don't go in the closet, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
In the house for a very long time. Never I cease, I get better like wine. Soul searching, found me online. No end of my reach, got a hand on the skies. Stop being so emotional, what you smoking on? About time I open up, you can't roll with us. If you want peace, go and throw up the sign.